if you clicked on this video, I got some bad news for you. That means that you suck at surviving on Tarkov. But fear not, because you're not alone. There's a lot of players just like you who are struggling with just surviving on the game. And just like the saying goes, the first step to fixing the problem is admitting you have it. Luckily for those who clicked on this video, they have acknowledged that they suck at surviving and they are trying to fix it. And that's what we're going to try to accomplish in this video. So, strap in and let's get into the video. First step to fixing your survival issue is to understand where you're going wrong. If you're anything like me whenever I first started the game, I was always just wandering around, not really knowing the maps and just trying to find loot as I went. And that's a huge problem because if you don't know the maps, then chances are you're going to run into players a lot more often or scab bosses that are going to end up killing you, especially if you're an experienced player. So, some of the best advice I can give is to stick to one map and learn that map like it's the back of your hand. Know where players go and know how to survive on that map consistently. So stick to a couple maps at first and just try to survive as consistent as you can. And there's plenty of other map guides out there that you can look up that will help you understand a map better. But knowing a map isn't the only thing that's going to save your life in a raid. It is knowing where the players tend to be at, and which is the safest route to get from one extract to another. And although every raid is different and players can be anywhere at any time, there's no map guide out there that's always going to give you the safest route because each raid is different. There's players everywhere at all times. You never can predict where players are going to be at during each single raid. But one thing you can do is learn the maps, learn audio cues that can tell you where players are. That way you can go the opposite direction to give you the safest route every single raid. Stick to a couple maps, learn the flow of it, learn audio cues that can guide you into the safest direction throughout the raid, and that is going to be your best chance of surviving as a new or an experienced player. The next advice that I can give, and it's probably the most crucial advice that I can give to you, is learn when to sprint and when to walk. In most situations, it's better to walk in this game than it is to sprint. The only time you should really be sprinting around is if you are getting shot at already, or if you're already in a PvP engagement, or if time is crunching down and you need to get out of the extract as fast as you can. But other than that, you really shouldn't just be sprinting around, because players are going to hear you way before you hear them. When you sprint on this game, you make a ton more noise, and if you're sprinting around, players can hear you twice as far if you're doing that rather than if you were just walking around. So sprinting is kind of a detriment and it will get you killed more often than you will realize. That is something that I learned the hard way whenever playing this game, because I came from Call of Duty and other battle royales, and all I thought to do was just always be sprinting around and moving around. But this game is different. It's about survival. The best way to survive in this game is to control everything that you personally can do to give you the best advantage that you can over other players. Control how much noise you make, and that oftentimes will give you the surprise advantage over other players, and it will save your life more often than you realize. For example, say you're just sprinting around and you decide to go into a building to loot it, and you sprint in there, and next thing you know, you're just getting gunned down by somebody who's sitting in the corner and they kill you. You're probably gonna be pretty upset. And honestly, that player played it a lot better than you did. Although you might say he's a rat, he played it better than you did. He heard you because you're sprinting around, and he used that to his advantage. He knew that you were out there and that you were gonna sprint into the building, and you had no idea he was in there. And honestly, things as small as sprinting around and just walking are big parts of how you survive in Tarkov. So slow down and walk around more than you sprint, and I guarantee you that your survival rate is gonna increase dramatically. The last advice that I can give to you is to not compare yourself to other players. Just because you see big streamers and YouTubers and things like that running around and getting 8-10 kills a game or something like that doesn't mean you have to play like that. You can take your time throughout each raid and just get as much loot as you can and survive. That's perfectly fine. There's no rule to saying you have to kill players in order to have fun in this game or to have the best experience in this game. If you're not comfortable with fighting players, then don't. And if you do get in a situation where you do have to fight players, just try to do the best that you can and try to evaluate what went wrong if you died or what went right when you win. That's really the best way you can get better in each game, is to reevaluate how you play each raid and ultimately which decisions caused you to win the fight or lose the fight, and which decisions you made that ended up making you survive the raid or what made you die in each raid. For example, you hear gunshots and you push the gunshots, and then next thing you know, you're getting third partied and you die by someone else. Well, to evaluate that, you made a decision to push into a fight and try to be a third party, but somebody else had the same idea as you, and they ended up killing you in the process. So that decision that you made ended up costing you your life when you could have made the decision to ignore that fight and go and loot something else instead. Another example, you're getting shot at, you don't know where it's from, so instead of stopping and looking around trying to find the player, you end up just popping a painkiller and you just run away into the woods or into the bushes and get cover. And then that person ends up chasing you and you kill them because they don't know where you are now. Or you end up just getting away and surviving because of that, because you chose to run away. These are the type of decisions that you need to make each raid that can cause you to either survive or to die. And really, there's no guide that can help you do that. That decision is totally up to you, and it's completely unique to each raid and each player. that's what makes Tarkov fun. Everything that you do, every decision you make is survive or die. And there's really no way to get better at that than experience, and to have those decisions come up more often where you need to make a choice, and if you make the wrong one, you die. You make the right one, you survive, and so on and so forth. So try to evaluate yourself and get better personally, rather than comparing yourself to other players and think that you can outgun somebody whenever you can't. If you made it this far and you are enjoying the video, consider leaving a like or subscribing. It means a lot to me and it'll help me out in more ways than you can imagine. Or if you have any other suggestions of any other video ideas about Tarkov that you want me to make, feel free to leave them down in the comments, as I read every comment and I really do want to gauge what type of videos you guys want to see. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.